What's up, beautiful people? This is Nisai of NiSisEyes Makeup Artistry doing a cut crease. As you can see, I jumped right in. You've already seen my other videos, how I go about doing my eyebrows. So I just did a quick little fast forward just so you can see, kind of the process of me doing it again, just in case that helps. I get a lot of questions on how I achieve my eyebrows. So you can look at this little quick, fast, and in a hurry, or you can go back and look at some of the other videos as well. Jumping right into the eyeshadow, I'm using the darkest red in the 88 Original palette from Coastal Scents, and I'm patting that color onto my lid and a little bit above my crease. Alright, so moving on, I will be starting to build upon this color. So I'll be using the purple from the MYO Makeup Ultra Bright Stack. And I'm going to apply that with a different brush, a little bit above where we had the red. I did change brushes because, of course, if you have a different brush, you have to look at the brush size. Is it a big brush? Is it a small brush? So this way I can keep the color where I want it to be. If I used a bigger brush, then I could possibly end up having this purple color under my eyebrow and there's no lift and looking like I have a highlight color under there. So you may need to change brushes, or you just may need to be very careful if you don't have the luxury of having multiple brushes. Just be very careful in putting that eye color where you want it to be. Alright, so here we go with our trusty LA Pro concealer. We're going to add a smaller semicircle right on the lid. Like I said in one of the other videos, you can feel where your crease is on your eye. You can add that concealer right there, so that'll be where your color change is going to come in. Be very careful because the product is wet, so you will notice in a few seconds that you need to keep your eyes low. If you keep your eyes low, then that concealer won't go everywhere else on your eye, because if you blink, if you look up, if you do anything, too dramatic with your eye, then you may have that concealer transfer on another part of your eyeshadow that you don't want to have to worry about fixing. So definitely be careful, so that way you won't have to worry about going back and adding more red and adding more of the purple. You can just go ahead and keep going through. Now, yes, mistakes happen. You're going to see that it's about to happen. But definitely, try to be as careful as possible so you don't create more work for yourself. I am using an angled brush. I feel that it gives me a little bit more structure on making sure that I stay in line with where I'm trying to go. So you can use an angled brush. You see where I had that little hiccup there. So I'm just going to go back in because I need it to go a little bit higher anyway based on the other eye. So I just went ahead and just filled in where I happened to look up and make a little boo-boo. And keep in mind, you want to try to have your eyes be as symmetric as possible. So what you do to the left eye, you do to the right eye. Whichever eye you start with first, try to make sure the other one is the same. If you happen to do something on the right eye and you like it better than you did on the left eye, then try to match it up, just so they look pretty close to being similar. But yeah, like I was saying, with the brush, I like the angled brush. It helps me get that line. You can use any kind of flat brush. As you can see, there's not too much poofiness, I guess you can say, with the brush. It kind of helps give that defined line, and you can always go back and make it as defined as you can with a different brush. But I like using this to kind of start that cut crease. Now I'm taking my MAC Prep and Prime powder and I'm just going to tap it lightly over where I have that concealer. So I can go ahead and start setting that so it can get ready for another color. As you can see that it doesn't look as wet when I go in and put the powder on it. It kind of mats it down. So you see a little bit of a difference there, but we're, like I said, going to add some more color onto that. But this is to get us ready for that application. Now right under the brow bone, I'm adding the color Buff by Bovanti. And so I'm just adding that right in between my eyebrow and that purple. And then we're, of course, going to blend it in. But just to give a little bit more highlight to under the brow. So I'll just swoop it right around. If you get a little bit on the purple, that's completely fine. Like I said, you're actually going to make sure that that's blended in so you don't just have a line separating the purple from the red, and you know, you're just trying to make sure that everything looks really good and as crisp as possible, but making sure it blends. And if you didn't notice, I did go ahead and add my labels so I can have that defined line. In Camera Magic, I did add my liquid liner, and as you can see, I'm going ahead and pulling that right on off, pulling the other side on off, so we can have that defined line with the eyeliner. Alright, so some things have been added. I've added my eyelashes by Elias. I think that's how you pronounce it. I get them off of Amazon for like 70 pairs for little to nothing. I highlighted and contoured with my LA Girl Pro Concealer and Bronzer by Mary Kay. Intense Ebony Eyeliner for Clinique is on my waterline. I used my Mary Kay Matte Foundation in Bronze 1. My Mary Kay Shy Blush for my cheeks, and then the Transparency Bronze Powder by Clinique. And now I'm jumping into my lips. I like to make sure that my lips are full. I'm using a Clinique lip liner, and that is going to fill in my bottom lip. I like to add a little bit of my lip liner, not just as a line. I kind of like to fill in my lip just a little bit because color stays a little bit longer from the eyeliner or from the lip liner. So I like to make sure that it's filled in, plus add a little extra so I have a little bit more color on the lip. Same with the top lip. Just take your time, draw the lines, follow the lines of your lips, and just fill in. Like I said, same thing with the bottom. I like to make sure I add a little bit more color, not just a little line. I like to add a little bit more color so I can make sure I do have that gradient with the color, but also so that the color stays a little bit longer as well. So after I've added my Intense Licorice Lip Liner by Clinique, I'm adding the color Red 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 by Clinique as well, and zhuzhing those lips together so they can blend and blend and blend, so you can't see where the licorice starts and the red begins, just blending. Alright, now I'm taking the Golden Bronze MAC powder and adding it to my lips so you have a little bit of a bronze effect on the lip as well. As you can see, I'm not putting a lot on there. If you happen to get some where it shouldn't be, just keep dabbing it in. You can always go back over it and touch it up. But yeah, just make sure you dab and it'll give you that effect. Added a little too much right there. We're just going to wipe it a little bit, put those lips together, and just blend it on in. As you can see, I'm going back in with that Intense Licorice on that little corner where I had a little bit too much of the golden bronze, and just filling it in. This is a lip gloss by Femme Couture in the flavor of Plum. So I'm just adding that on top to give myself a little gloss on top of the lip color. Alright, just taking a blending brush and going back in between that buff and the purple and just making sure those colors are blended in really well. Alright, we're finishing up. I'm taking my Absolute New York finishing spray and setting my face. I also like to use Mary Kay's finishing spray by Skindinavia. And I got my lovely fan from Etsy and just fanning that so it can go ahead and start drying. Thank you so much for taking this YouTube journey with me. I'm learning as I post videos and try to help you learn about makeup as well. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. You will see products that I used in the below description as well. But definitely I hope to see you all next week. And if there's anything that you'd like to see, let me know. But I'll see you next week, guys. Thank you so much.